Now we are going to start with the forest society and colonization. Now, during the colonial period in India, Britishers were ruling, and at that time, the forest societies were tried to be abolished. Okay, so what happened is, see, firstly, deforestation. Now, the trees were cut recklessly, and this is why deforestation took place. Now, basically, why deforestation took place? So, firstly, the land needed to be improved. So, people thought that the Britishers thought that the forests were unproductive as the forests were not giving them taxes. So Britishers thought that the forests were unproductive, and they converted those forest lands into their cultivable land. So they started cutting down forests and using it for cultivation. Then ships building was done in Britain for the Royal Navy, and over there they found that the oak tree resources were getting lower and lower. So they examined and they found that in India the oak tree and other strong woods were present in a large number. So they explored India, and they started cutting oak trees and started exporting over there for the building of ships in Royal Navy. Then comes for transportation of these huge logs of wood, they needed transportation system. So they started establishing railway connection. So for railway sleepers there was need of wood. Then they started cutting trees for that. They need to make roads for transportation. So their wood started cutting. Then making railways also there is a need of wood, because the boxes of train was also made up of wood. Then wood was also used as fuel. So because these various reasons, wood and trees were cut down recklessly at that point of time. So deforestation took place. Then in Britain the need of tea, coffee, rubber, jute was increasing day by day. So they called plantation owners from Britain to India, and they started setting up the plantation in India. So this was how plantation was practiced. Okay, then comes rise of commercial forestry. Now after this all things, there was a rise of commercial forestry. In forest also they started exporting the materials of the forest to the different countries for gaining more profit by exporting goods. So this was how the forest was used commercially by British. How were lives of people in forest affected? Now, in forest, people were leading their lives like Adivasi communities. Now they were practicing shifting cultivation, or we can say slash and burn cultivation. Now in that shifting cultivation, people move from one place to another. So Britishers banned the shifting cultivation as they burn out the patch of land which is cleared to be grown again. So they said that there was a danger of fire. Then as people move from one place to another, so there was difficulty for collecting the taxes. Like they could not note down the number of people who are shifting. So, and also they did not want the resources of the forest to be spread among the commoners. So they stopped the practice of shifting cultivation, and they made three parts of the forest. It is protected forest, village forest, and reserved forest. In reserved forest, no one was allowed. In protected forest, the forest was being protected by the people who were living in it. So they were in the form of workers. And the village forest were those forests where villages were actually set up, because those villagers would be working for the Britishers for chopping woods and do those stuffs. So this was how the life of people affected. How did did forest rules affect the cultivations? Now, as I have already said, the forest rules rose the cultivation at that point of time in India, because the cultivable land was increased, but the forest was but these rules of forest were not being totally accepted by the people of the country, because they were not in favor of giving their own lands to another people. Okay, so these were some of the things. Then who could hunt? Now, hunting was said as illegal during that point of time, but if kings or Britishers or any officers, governor general or someone would cultivate, would hunt, then that was allowed. But the hunting was illegal for the people living in the forest villages. Means the commoners or Indians would not be were not basically allowed for hunting. Okay, so the hunting was also practiced recklessly. 400 to 500 leopards, tigers, they all were being hunted very badly, and people suggested that these hunting should be stopped, because conservation of natural resources is very important and it is a key feature. Then comes new trade, new employment, and new services. Now, as people had shifted from their original places from being shifting cultivators, they have to be some other people, other personalities. So some started trading, and some started surviving through small and large rebellions. And also they have to find new employment, new trade, and new services for themselves. So these were some situations about the forest colonization. This was part 1 of this chapter, and if you want to check out part 2, stay tuned and like this video, comment down if there are any suggestions, share this video as much as possible, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get my latest updates. Thank you.